What is the scariest story you know to be completely true? Guy I used to work with was, murdered and dismembered by his crime partner who was caught just nonchalantly driving his vehicle around town. A couple years before I had a conversation with him, the murder victim, about concealed carry licenses and how that would work inside a workplace, and he told me the story about his ex-wife was plotting to kill him and how he'd worked out carrying a gun on campus with security, only to be murdered and dismembered by someone else a couple years later. My cousin picked up a hitchhiker about 20 years ago. Nice enough guy. Cousin was hungry, so stopped at McDonald's, grabbed the hitchhiker some breakfast, too. Dropped him off where the guy had said he was headed. No big deal. Next morning, my cousin's watching the morning news and sees that hitchhiker's face. Dude was a serial killer and had killed someone that picked him up. Cousin calls the cops and they have him come in. Turns out the hitcher had killed the very next person after my cousin that had given him a ride. He'd killed a few people that had given him rides, that was his MO. They asked the hitcher why he didn't kill my cousin. He said I'd planned to, but he was a really nice young man, he bought me breakfast. I couldn't kill someone that bought me breakfast. Someone at my school vanished for a week, with no leads other than a video of him on a security camera at a McDonald's 2 towns over. A week later, his body turned up in the lake in a bay. They never figured out what happened to him. I was hiking down from doing 2 weeks of trail work in Colorado a few summers ago. A guy hiking up stopped to chat with us about our work and asked if we had seen anyone make the summit while we were up there. We told him that the first summit of the season had been done a few days prior and wished him luck. A friend of mine hiked in that area the next day and there was a helicopter circling around. The guy had taken the wrong gully back down and died. It's still crazy to me to think about. My childhood friends took over a gas plant in Algeria, held the workers hostage and then killed 37 people and themselves. Link. My great-grandfather came home from World War II with shell shock and my great-grandma refused to sleep in the same bed as him because he would keep repeating "No, don't kill Tom." Which was what he said before he witnessed his childhood friend getting killed. He luckily managed to get therapy and was okay, but wheelchair-bound until I was about 11, where at Christmas dinner he sat while we all ate, completely frozen. My granddad asked, "You okay, Dad?" To which he started crying and suddenly let out a very loud and hurt-filled "Don't kill Tommy" and started crying. It's not scary, but it freaked me out. Sad face. My father's ship sank in the North Atlantic. Most of his shipmates, including the friend he enlisted with, died of exposure while awaiting rescue. The bodies remained in the lifeboat. A friend's father just dropped dead while brushing his teeth with his youngest daughter, 6 years old. They never found out what happened, so they figured he had a brain hemorrhage. My dad got into a car crash head-on with a convertible with a young couple in it, and the top part of the convertible window decapitated them instantly. He ended up falling into something red, berries, blood. And when the cops and medics showed up, they were freaking out and telling him to lay down. He was actually fine. Witnessing that screwed him up though. One of my elementary school friends ended up working as a gunman for a cartel. He was killed this year in a gunfight with the army. Not really a scary story, but it messes me up every time I give it a thought, just reflecting in how different our paths in life became. I'm actually happy and doing good in life, both emotionally and economically. He, on the other hand, had drug addiction issues, too young, and unfortunately ended up joining with the wrong people in the wrong place. They knowingly sold HIV, contaminated medication, to South Americans in order to not lose profit. They were caught and fined, but their profit was far higher than the fine, so literally infecting and killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people was lucrative. The story of a continuous days-long shark attack following a U.S. Navy ship sinking, as told in Jaws, was real. Responded to a 911 call of a frantic neighbor with a girl that reported her mom was severely injured. Get on scene and find out the ex-boyfriend knocked on the door at 0300. The young girl recognized him and let him in. He said, "Thanks, where's your mommy?" She pointed to her bedroom and he proceeded to stab her multiple times in the face and chest. He then told the daughter, sorry, and slit his own throat. The daughter then ran around the neighborhood knocking on doors until a neighbor answered and called 911. The amount of blood was insane. I'll tell a very personally scary one. Good friend of mine from high school was driving his perfectly normal family in their perfectly normal minivan on the highway. They were on vacation, headed to Disney World. A pickup coming the other way crossed the center line and hit them head-on. He and his 2 sons were killed instantly. His wife and daughter, the youngest child, were critically injured but survived. He was literally one of the 2 or 3 genuinely kindest people I ever met. Got up that morning all set for a fun family adventure. Cruising along the highway, and then lights out. In an instant. And his wife/daughter left behind to go it alone. Bad things happen, to good people. To anyone. And you don't see them coming. As a parent, that's scary.